Africa's largest oil producer is facing a looming economic crisis as oil sector unions are threatening to shut down operations if the federal government proceeds with the planned sale of the country's refineries. Now, the unions say the government should continue to run the notoriously inefficient facilities instead of privatizing them. CCTV's Deji Badmus takes up the story.
If there's one reason why Nigeria is considered a paradox, it is its oil industry. It is Africa's largest oil producer and among the world's top 10, churning out around 2.2 million barrels per day. But here's the paradox. Nigeria imports much of its refined petroleum products at international market prices, which it then sells to the domestic market at a subsidized rate. Despite its partial removal of subsidy early last year, the government has spent 971 billion naira, just about $6 billion, in subsidizing imported petrol this year alone. That figure is setting to go up next year as demand surges. At the very heart of this situation are the country's 4 refineries. They have a combined installed refining capacity of 445,000 barrels per day, but at the moment they are doing well below 30% of their installed capacity. Billions of dollars have been sunk into turnaround maintenance, but nothing has changed.
Our refineries are for patronage. It's not profit-driven. Instead, rather, you see government pumping so much money.
The government has now decided the best option it has left is to privatize the refineries. Petroleum Minister Diezani Alison Madueke made that clear recently, saying the process would begin from early next year. But that announcement has prompted a strong resistance from the country's oil industry workers' union, who are vehemently opposed to the planned sale. They have staged 2 protests so far, denouncing the decision and threatening to shut down operations beginning from January next year.
We are to develop the refineries, we are not to sell them. Anybody who is interested in buying the refineries will not have a refinery to buy. Nigeria say no.
But in fact, not every Nigerian says yes.
Even if it means selling the refinery that will make them work at even 80%, why don't you do away with them?
The main reason behind the workers' strong opposition to the sale of the refineries is the fear that many of them would lose their jobs.
If it's about selling the refineries, I will tell you that they're already, in the process. And like we all know here, the workers would have their say, the government will have their way.
It is because of that people are bracing up for a very difficult January. Fact is that unless the government is able to strike some kind of deal with the unions, it is difficult to see how they would not make good their threat to go on strike. And to be quite frank, striking a deal in this case will not be an easy one. Deji Badmus, CCTV, Lagos, Nigeria.
Also, the World Bank says it will not dictate how Uganda's government should spend oil revenues following the discovery of commercial quantities of oil in that country. The bank's Africa Region Vice President, Makta Diop, however, did say that the institution expects Uganda's authorities to respect the social contract it has with citizens to ensure that the income helps Ugandans to be more productive in other sectors. Diop had visited the World Bank-funded Bujagali hydropower plant as the Bretton Woods institution celebrates 50 years of partnership with Uganda. The World Bank has committed to provide $75 million for the Skilling Uganda program under the Highly Indebted Poor Countries Initiative. The money for that program will be released in April 2014.
We need to make sure that we invest well in people. We invest a lot in people. Access of education increased significantly. Access to health services increased significantly. But the quality has been falling, has been going down. We need more and more to focus on quality. Because one thing is to send our kids to school. Another thing is make sure that they learn something when they come out from the classroom.
Transparency is that all the oil revenues will be put into a petroleum reserve fund, which will be audited by the Auditor General of Uganda twice a year, not once but twice, and presented to Parliament twice a year for their scrutiny as representatives of the people.
Onto the markets now. It seems essentially the teensy-weensy, quote-unquote, taper talk has really had absolutely no effect on frontier markets. The all-share index in Nigeria in the green, up by almost a 4 percentage point. The all-share index in South Africa also higher at the start of trading on Friday, up by about 0.2. The 20-share index in the Kenya capital, Nairobi, lower by about 0.1, but not entirely for reasons dedicated to the taper. And, of course, the EGX 30 is closed today, mainly because, of course, it's a Friday.